Hey everybody, KC here. Happy Monday. So there was an interesting piece in the Washington Post the other day saying that 73% of American adults lived in a household without a landline at the end of last year. And that number has tripled just since 2010. One of the things that really struck me as interesting about the story, though, is that the data is being compiled by the National Health Interview Survey. Why, right? Well, it ends up that, quote, people who have cut the cord are generally more likely to engage in risky behaviors. They're more likely to binge drink, more likely to smoke, and more likely to go without health insurance. Yikes. Didn't see that coming. Now, here's the interesting thing. Only 2% of American adults use only landlines. Now, an additional 3% mostly rely on landlines, and 1%, they don't have phones at all. The largest group of holdouts, not surprisingly, are senior citizens, people 65 and older. That's the only demographic in which households with landlines outnumber those without landlines. But the other interesting thing about the story was they're not landlines the way we think of landlines necessarily, because we think of landlines as being the things with the copper wires. But most landline homes now have voice over internet protocols, right? What happens is they're getting calls to their internet connection. I happen to be one of those people. And it's interesting. The only reason we still have a landline in our house is because the cable company, and I'm still doing business with the cable company, which tells you how old I am. The cable company says, well, if you have internet and you have a landline and you have Wi-Fi, we're going to give you a better price than if you get only one or two of those three. If I only had internet, for example, it would cost me more than it had cost to have three. So we have a landline. It rings somewhere, but I have no idea where the phone is. But here's the broader question that I would ask. How many of your business processes and policies are based on old world assumptions? Like, you're still catering to a world where people have landlines when so many people do not. I think the cliched question is a good one. How many things are you doing in your organization? Okay. How many things are you doing in your organization simply because you've always done them that way? That's a question I think that companies need to ask themselves every day. Because even when you think you've cleaned those away, there's still more out there. And it only makes sense to deal with the reality as it is today, as opposed to the reality the way it was yesterday. Anyway, that is what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.